What's up guys, I'm Holly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm giving you my 4 best bodyweight strength movements for runners. If you've never done strength training before, this is the video you're gonna start with. You can see I'm in my own home. You're gonna be in your own home to do this as well if you want to. No equipment required whatsoever. I'm gonna break down these 4 movements for you, tell you how to do it safely, explain how each one benefits your running, and lastly, I'm gonna show you how to build everything into your own workout that's gonna be time efficient, quick, and really get the job done. Let's jump right in. Movement number 1 is going to be our air squat. This is just such a foundational movement for so many things, but it really helps you build strength and mobility in your hips, knees, and ankles. These are the joints that take the beating when we run. If you can build a strong foundation in those joints by doing a larger range of motion in a full depth squat, you're going to protect yourself a lot more against the thousands of steps you're doing in a run. Technically, running is a bunch of single leg squats when you land. All right, so let me walk you guys through this squat position. You're gonna go hips width distance with the feet to start, a little bit wider for some of you might be more comfortable, and you're gonna turn those toes slightly out to the corners. That gives us a little bit more room to play with in terms of getting low in this squat. From here, I'll actually turn to the side. I'm gonna act like I'm sitting back on a chair or a bench. If you need to actually get a chair or a bench for the beginning, this is a really good starting point, so don't be afraid to do that so you have a target to sit to. From here, I'm going to squeeze the butt so I'm staying nice and tall, pushing those hips forward, keeping my shoulders relaxed. I like to keep the arms out in front for support and balance. From here, I reach the hips back behind me and keep the chest up. Down, down, down. Goal here is to get to parallel to the ground. From here, I'm pressing my knees as if they're into 2 imaginary walls, pressing those knees out, reaching it back, keeping that belly button tight, and then I'm going to push my hips forward from the bottom and stand and squeeze. Let me show you again from the front. Toes again slightly out to the front, to the corners here. We're gonna reach those hips back, keep that chest up. You can keep that gaze up on the horizon line. My knees you see are going out, arms are front, and push the hips to stand. I really like a tight squeeze of the glute, like you're pinching a piece of paper back there in between each rep anytime you air squat. Let's see a couple in real time, if you will. We're gonna reach it down and stand, down, and stand. Something I really see go wrong here is people let those knees go way past the toes. There is some theory to that. There is a good way to do that, but if you're very first starting out here, I want to keep you guys vertical on the shins. So really keeping those hips back so that your shins stay vertical. What we don't want is this on the toes. Again, there's a way to do that, a more advanced version where it does benefit you, but if you don't know what's going on yet, just don't go there. You don't want to be up on those toes. We want to keep you guys back. Just like that. Squats are really good, like I said, to build that foundation in running. You're gonna get that full range of motion, building strength and muscle around the hips, around the knees, around the ankles. All right, guys, next up is one of my favorites, the reverse lunge. This is a fabulous way to build that glute and hamstring strength, that posterior chain. It really helps us make sure we're using the right muscles when we run instead of those smaller ones that tend to get lit up really quickly and overused really quickly. I'm talking about the shins, the calves, and that low back. When we heel strike or we get those hips dropped behind us, we put a lot of load back here and a lot of reach in that step, and what happens is we get smoked so quickly. We might even be a toe runner where we're really up, the heels never quite kiss the ground. What we want to do is find that pulling motion when we run. I'm going to show you right now. Just that mini figure 4, so that would be a figure 4, a mini one of those is how we're trying to run all the time. When we do this properly, our hips are forward, our glutes and hamstrings are taking each landing, and when we build those guys up, just like the squat, we're getting minimal impact on those joints, which multiplied over thousands of steps or a long race, we're gonna be really grateful for. So here's what that reverse lunge looks like. I'm gonna have you guys tip the hips back for a second to start this movement. From here, you're gonna drop one leg behind you, laying over that front thigh. So I start on this left leg, I'm gonna bring my right leg behind me, lean a little bit, keep the core on, and I step back behind me to drop into this lunge. This shin stays vertical yet again, my chest stays up at least so I can see that horizon line. I'm trying to get to close to both being 90-degree bend. You might not kiss the knee to the ground, that's totally fine, but you want to get low so those hips are close to parallel to the ground. From here, I dig into that front heel and I bring this back leg up to standing, pushing the hips forward. In one rep, you're already going to start to feel that glute work, which is perfect. We're going to stand on the right now, Bring that left leg behind us, lean, step it down, come back up. From the front, I want to show you guys, we're not on a tightrope here, so it's not one foot directly in front of the other. You're actually about hips width on this one as well, so you have some space to balance. I step behind and down like this. Together, just like this. If you're doing this too far forward with the knee, it's going to look like this. We don't want that. You're going to feel that a lot in the quad and a lot right above the knee like this. So I want you to lay over that thigh. It feels a little awkward, but I'm laying over that thigh to make sure my hip stays back and my shin stays vertical while keeping the chest forward. I like to keep the toes of my standing leg up to really make sure I'm on the heel, just like this. When you do these, you'll do alternating, or you can do all on one side. I'll kind of show you in that workout I'm going to give you at the end. But yeah, this is a great one for building that strength and stability around the joints that you're going to be running on. All right, guys, next thing I'm going to show you is a push-up. Now, this might not seem too obvious as to why it helps runners, but I'm going to explain right now. Your push-up is basically a horizontal version of how I want you to control your body when you're vertical running. If we are not strong in our core, what happens when we run is we really start to twist. We get no real power out of our arm swing. No real strength around the core means we're going to be putting that back in jeopardy, especially that low back. Over time, that twisting is really going to start to wear on us if you haven't already felt that yet. So the push-up is a good functional way to see where we're at in the core strength, as well as work on our upper body to keep us nice and strong in our posture when we run, especially when we get tired at the end of a race. So we're going to be working with our elbows in today on this push-up, the same way we drive them back when we run, keeping the shoulders and neck relaxed as much as possible. Let me show you guys that first easy version here. Do not worry if you don't feel fit enough to do a push-up yet. This is absolutely fine. I'm going to give you a bunch of different versions to do so that you feel that you can put this in a workout right away. So I'm going to have everybody, no matter what level you're at, start in a straight arm plank. You're going to step it up and squeeze the legs together. Butt's really tight here, and I'm already thinking about drawing that belly button slightly into the spine. I'm just going to start by taking one deep breath here. On my exhale, getting a little deeper into that core engagement. From here, I'm going to lower just the knees to the mat. Nothing else really changes. I'll show you one more time. I go knees down. I'm going to keep my elbows in, lay my chest all the way to the ground. From here, completely relaxed on the ground, I'm going to squeeze and engage my glutes, just like at the top of the squat, like I'm pinching back here. Lifting the chest up, keep the elbows in, rolling off my hips, off my knees to come back to that plank. Knees go down, chest comes down, chest comes up, knees come up. That's going to be the easiest version of this push-up from this video. If you need something even easier, please reach out in the comments. I'm going to make sure I get you guys taken care of. Now, one level up from this, we can go strict down but roll off. So keeping those elbows in, I can squeeze everything together in one piece, lower, 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 and then I'm going to do the actual push-up off the knees just again. One more time. Little shift forward over the wrists. That ensures I've got that vertical stack, shoulders over wrists. Little shift, strict down, push off the knees, and up. You can also go knees down and push off strict. Little shift, knees, all the way down. From here, I engage everything really tight, really squeezed, and I use my core and upper body strength to push up. That's definitely going to be a little harder than that one I showed previous. Lastly, of course, guys, we're going for that strict push-up. This is so difficult to get there. I do plan on making a video entirely a progression just for the push-up, but what we are ultimately aiming for here is legs tight together, butt squeezed, elbows in, and we're going to shift forward, lower 1 inch, off, and little shift back. It does help to think about shifting, lowering, raising, shifting back. One more time, shift, down, up, and back. If you're doing these rolling push-ups, any version of those, you are going to feel that core engage. It's a really great way to translate up to that running position where we keep those hips forward, like I said, in that pulling, and then we're just going to keep that nice arm swing easy, driving those elbows back. Really, really nice and strong here, staying upright the whole time that we run. All right, guys, final movement I want to teach you is a V-up variation. I'm going to show you a few different versions of it, but this one's really important because it teaches you how to pull in and engage those abs. You know, I mentioned on the squat and lunge how to slightly draw that belly button in to keep the abs on. This is a great way to remind yourself of how to do that while still breathing, while still moving. We all tend to have that mode where we go clench everything and really squeeze those abs, but then we can't breathe or move around it. That's not helpful or functional for us when we run. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to lay all the way on our backs, all the way. I'm going to have you guys actually reach your arms back behind you and just keep them there. And what I'm going to have you do from here is start by just lowering the low back till it's squeezed down to the mat. I should not be able to put a hand under there if I was next to you. A good way to test at home, if you had a t-shirt underneath, you shouldn't be able to yank the t-shirt out from under you. From here, you're going to reach the arms back and just press that down. I'm just going to have you guys bring one knee in at a time, just like this. Other knee in, back out, and down. That's going to be the most beginner version of this one here. Can you control the core enough, keep the back squeezed to the ground enough to engage one leg in at a time and lower out at a time? For some people, bringing them back out is going to be the challenging part, and it does take a lot of support and strength to lower the weight of the legs. Our legs weigh a lot. Down, down. One step up from this, we can bring both in together, up to here. And then again, we can go one at a time coming down, or if we have the control, we can lower both together. From here, we can use the arms, and especially in the workout I'm going to give you guys, this might be a good way to kind of link them together. You're going to bring the arms forward as you tuck the head up. So bringing two legs in, up to the knees, and then extending out behind you. This gives you a little help with that momentum. I would say maybe slightly harder than the one I gave you before. You're going to come up, together, and back out, and really focusing on that lower. One step up from here would be coming up to the tailbone to create that balance point. From here we reach, sit it up, tuck, and you're up to that tailbone. You can even grab the legs for the first couple to see where you are. Make sure you've got that balance. Controlling and lowering back down to the ground. Pushing that low back in, sit up. When you time this right, it's actually very easy to balance. When you don't, it gets a little tricky. Back out. The final version, you guys, is going to be a full V-up. If you have it in you, you're actually going to be doing what I just did, but with extended legs. We reach out, sit up, but this time I bring my hands to my toes. If I don't have that flexibility or range of motion back here in the hamstrings, I can bend a little bit, keeping the shoulders down as best I can. It's really tough on this one, but keeping it down by squeezing the lats and then controlling back down. So a couple of V-ups looks like this. Up, down. Really, actually, the most challenging version is if you keep 1 inch off the ground with these legs, press, 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 reach, and down, reach. It is extremely hard to do that one, but definitely what we're working toward. Now, just to recap here, we're finding that core engagements. That's the whole point of this one, but we're also working on some balance. Again, when we run, especially on terrain that we're not used to or trail, we're landing in different ways that we might not be expecting. If we have an extra layer of core stability, we're one, going to protect the spine, but we're also going to protect ourselves from falling, keeping that position in line no matter where we land. All right, guys, finally, I'm going to put everything together now in a workout for you. I've broken it into two versions. Version 1 is going to be more for the beginners. Version 2 is going to be more if you're looking for that HIIT style, get the heart rate up, really just get a good sweat type of workout, but you want to use these basic body weight movements. In version 1, you're doing 4 rounds of 10 to 15 reps of each. This is going to be based on how well you can do these movements. If it feels really challenging to even get through 5 of them, doing them well, take your time and keep these reps really small per round. I want you to rest 2 to 3 minutes between. So we're going to go through in the order I gave it to you. Squats, lunges, into the push-ups, into the V-ups. Rest that 2 to 3 minutes. Go back to the beginning for 4 total rounds. Again, we are just working on form here. Can you picture what I said and how it benefits your running as you go through each rep? The second workout, the second version of this workout in that HIIT style is going to be 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. You're going to do the same order for the workout, starting with the squats. You're going to do 45 seconds, as many as you can do well in that time. If you feel the form break apart, I want you to slow down that speed. 15 seconds you rest, then you move into alternating reverse lunges for 45 seconds, 15 seconds rest, into the push-ups, etc. You're going right back into round 2 after your 15-second rest after the V-ups, if that makes sense. 4 rounds in both of those workouts, but adjust the reps and the speed at which you're doing everything based on your form. When you're a beginner, if you're doing something really quickly, I can almost guarantee you're doing it wrong. Pretty much with all my clients, that's what I've seen. So slow things down, and when you can do it well, make it tougher for yourself. Here's one bonus workout you guys can do if you want to kind of see how these movements reflect directly into your running. I like this workout because it's kind of fun and challenges you to keep a consistent speed with your running. You're going to do 5 rounds of a 400-meter run or a quarter-mile run. You can do this on the track, or you can just kind of map out what would be 400 meters on your street. You could be on a hill, whatever it is. You're going to run and time that run. When you get back, you're going to rest 2 minutes. On your next run, you're going to time that one, and however many seconds you're off from the first run, it could be slower or faster, you're going to do that many reps of one of the selected movements that I gave you today. So for example, say I do my first 400-meter run in 1:45. I come back and I rest 2 minutes. I go out for the next one, say I run a 1:51. That's 6 seconds off. I'm going to do 6 alternating reverse lunges if that's the movement I've chosen. Then I'm going to rest. I keep that in the rest, so I'll rest the remainder of what would be the 2 to 3 minutes after doing my reps. Then go back out again, whatever time off from the first original run, you're going to do that number of movements. I hope that makes sense. It's a really fun one. You can even do this with burpees or something like that, but it challenges you to stay consistent in your run speed and really just gets that extra work in, and you can kind of see the reflection of those movements in your running. Hopefully that helped you in some way, at least get started. If you're looking for more workouts to tackle after this one, click right over here. I did a 12-minute HIIT workout. Really good to make you a little bit more aerobically capable as a runner, and I give you some modifications in there if you're a beginner as well. For any other workouts you want to see, drop them in the comments, and I will see you guys another day. Have a good one.